What's up, everybody? Welcome to Blackberry Garage. Starting kind of late, but I want to show you what it looks like. Obviously, if you're to this point, you should know how to jack up your car. Jack stands, jack is double safety, wheel, third safety. That's what it looks like once you get everything off. We're gonna bend this brake shield up at this upper portion, and down here, this whole bottom portion is gonna get bent out to fit the caliper bracket. That's gonna get bolted on here. Right over here, this part, you have to fold it down a little bit and then compress it here. You'll see what that looks like here in a second. All right, so this is what this looks like. Just get my good old pliers. Just any old pair like this works. Just kind of get in here. You could, in theory, take this off, but I want to retain some of that cooling that comes in from this part of it. So coming in here with some kind of snippers is what they call these, kind of sharp end ones. Pick it up right here, and we're just gonna cut it back right here. Like that. Come in with the other pliers. I'm just gonna bend this flat. Grab it, twist it. And once it's done like that, just come in, squeeze it, and just kind of lock it in. And the reason you're doing that is you're making space right here in the back for the bracket and caliper, just like that. Alright, don't forget to take a wheel brush, get all this rust off of here the best I could. It's not too bad, but there we go. Alright, so now that you get your XAT Racing caliper bracket, on this side, it's actually going to be flipped this way. And you'll see if the holes line up. Raises the rear of the caliper up a little bit. Hardware that's provided, you need a 16 for the bowl end, 18 for the nut end. I'm going to go ahead and bolt this up like that. You're going to find little ears here, line up pretty good. Keep the bolt in. Just kind of find the groove there. Let it work its way in. Obviously, don't take an impact to this until you have some threads engaged there. Like I said, this is going to be a 16 millimeter bolt. I thought it was a 17 or 15 at first, but 16 is the size. Just gonna find a time here. So now that we got some stuff in there, taking our impact. Just electro etch it so you can do it by hand if you like to. Put it on there. Bring it home. Next one. Make sure it's engaged. Now taking our 18 millimeter nuts on the back end. This kind of what it looks like here. You find your bolt. This bottom one. Just gonna run her down. One up here. And just in. So these are 18. So once we're kind of tight on there, come right back, and we're gonna tighten that down, torque it down. So we're just coming in. I got a ratcheting 18. Just go in here. I'm gonna get it tight. You might want to put some Loctite on this one. It's probably a good idea. Go. Put a socket for this top one. So put an 18 on this. Find your home. Make sure it's on. Tighten, not loosen. That'll help. clean. Double check the bottom one. I'm putting some force on these. I don't want this coming off. Good. Double check the top one. Just coming through the arm here. That's nice. Alright, so when I get to this point, once you unwrap your caliper, your brake rotor, it's gonna look something like this. Get all that oil off of it, all that adhesive kind of sticky stuff on there. Give it a hose down like this. Take your sacrificial rag, Costco filling, just get it down, get it clean. See that gun coming off? That's what you don't want. Don't have brake pads. Alright, flip it over. Same thing. So now these rotors seem to have been sitting for a long time. There's like a bunch of glue on this. Just taking a little brush. These micro abrasions are really that are going to affect anything. And that won't burn off on this first kind of hard breaking. Just kind of get all that glue off of there. Over there. So now we got to this point, we're going to take our caliper, this rotor, and we're going to bolt it back on here. So here's our caliper. Now this one I already went ahead and painted, so you can kind of see it come out the box. Looks a little different. It's going to be green, our Lexus logo on there. Have all the hardware already installed. If you have questions about that, just let me know, but there's already some new videos out there. So it's kind of looped up here. That's what that looks like. And there she is. Let's get her mounted. Alright, you made it to the fun part. The most satisfying part. We're going to bolt our caliper on, making sure let me see if I can show it better. The nipple here, the bleeder, is going to be up. Air goes up, so make sure it's up. You don't want to install these backwards and have a horrible day doing it again. Just going to slide it on top. Let this pad spin around. Spread. That's kind of what it looks like right there with this bottom. Taking your hardware that is provided by XAT Racing. And these are 8-10mm bolts. That's what that looks like. And I'll show you here in a second. And then what I found useful was taking the old hardware that comes with your car. You're gonna go back here, and then you can see kind of where the bracket lines up with the new caliper. And this is obviously new hardware, so what I'll do is I'll go in there with the old stuff, kind of like a locator pin. Just So come in here, find your hole. You're coming in here, and here you go. It's a better vision. So here's your bracket. You installed calipers right here, and I'm taking the old hardware off of the original, and basically kind of just finding its way through. So it's kind of like a placeholder. And then I'm going to do the same for the bottom once I line it up, and then come through with the new hardware, and it's kind of easier to line up there once you have that done. All right, so now underneath the car here, obviously keep your protection in mind, your safety features in mind. And then here you can see where we bent down the heat shield to make room for our caliper. Taking the old hardware, kind of sliding in, and right there, heard it slide in. So now it's holding that place for me. And then before I forget, something that I did install in this car as well is right here are these silver, they're called roll center adjusters, or RCAs. So these are already installed. The reason those are necessary, not because it's lower, but right here you barely have a gap between your caliper bolt and then your tie rod and bolt here. So you need that clearance right there. So you have to get these. So now that we're lined up, we're gonna go back up top and at the bottom and get the new hardware on. Yeah, so just kind of going around here, and you can see why we bent the dash shield back. I went a little further than I need to, but you want this space for your new, bigger caliper. Now it's a little tight right here, so I'm gonna go and bend this a little back. A little tight right here, gonna bend that back. Let's go underneath. Let's check it out. And we're looking here. You can tell it's making contact right here. So we're gonna go in and clear that a little bit as well. So now that we've kind of, cleared this up a little bit, it doesn't look the best, but you can always go back in and put some paint on there if you wanted to. But it's gonna be all hidden, so it doesn't matter to me. This is all bent up here. So we're making a little contact right here. So just go with the hammer, so gingerly. Find that out. Go back in with our pliers. Just kind of pull it back a little bit. So now we're all clear. There's a good view down here, right there. Here you can see there's clearance good enough to where your rotor's spinning. There, see the air behind it. So we're good to go. Back to it. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but you're gonna get these started. And then once they're in, you're gonna obviously top bottom. Make sure they're happy. Once you're gonna get this point, they are 22 millimeters, so you can sit there and do it by hand all day, but for me, take my electric ratchet. Very nice. Line is home. Let it take her all the way there. There we go. Let her find the way home. There we go. Alright, so we reached the point where we're going to install our brake lines. This is what I'm using. Stoptech steel braided lines. This is the part number there in case you want to get the same exact ones. These are off of the GS300 400, so the same car you're putting it on. This is your banjo bolt. That's going through with one copper washer there. Next washer goes on this part. And once it's kind of like that sandwiched together, we're going up here. It's going back here. There's a hole for it. And then what we're doing is breaking this loose. This is a 10 millimeter. Make sure you use your flared wrenches so you're not stripping this out. This little bracket comes out. I just use my pliers, pull this off, and then I'm gonna swap it. I'll show you here in a second. You guys, this is what it looks like. Banjo bolt, copper washer sandwiched together. Go ahead and blind a little bit, but you'll feel it. Now once you find the hole, just gently thread it. You don't want to cross those at all. So you kind of see it here. What it looks like. And just kind of loose it here. Kind of running it down by hand. It's a little tight, loose. I'm just gonna tuck it in here. So now we're gonna grab the clip with your pliers. Give it a little wiggle. She'll come. There we go. And so there's our clip. That's what it looks like. You put it in like this. There's a little lip to it. Can you see that? So this is going to be holding it like this. Take a little brake clean. Kind of want you to see it better. So we're going to spray down real quick, get all that gunk off of there. And that clip is off, so that hose is going to move on you. Oh, it wasn't caked on with dirt. But just in case it does move on you, this is a 17 flare wrench. This is going on the bottom here. And it'll hold your line there. You're taking a 10mm flared wrench, and that's your top one there. But this one's pretty caked on, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay there while I loosen it. Lefty loosey, obviously. There she goes. So now I'm gonna put a catch pan underneath to catch the brake oil, brake fluid. All right, so here we are, 10mm. Just kind of taking this off. It's as loose as you can do it by hand. Alright, so now that it's loose, dumping your old line into your catch pan here. Taking your new hose through the hole here, line it up with your brake line, and just kind of get those initial threads. Make sure not to cross thread. Just ever so gently. You feel it catch. There we go. Get a little spray down, and I'm going to tighten the banjo bolt over here now that we're linked up. 12mm flare wrench. Just taking it, and we're going to crush those washers. You're not over torquing this thing, just enough to crush the washers and make sure you're not having any leaks. That's good. That'll do. So now that we're lined up here, so make sure it's straight. You're gonna put your, use your clip, and just push right there. It's gonna naturally want to grab right here. So I'm gonna show you kind of like rustled it with a little bit, but basically you want to get that clip back in there, seated underneath the new line. I took a 17mm flare nut or flare wrench, or brake hose wrench, and here to hold it in place. 10mm up here. Tighten it together. Again, don't over tighten. I always like to kind of spray it down with brake fluid or brake cleaner, which is what you're seeing right here, just to make sure that there's no leaks. Now I'm going to go ahead and bleed it. So there's a lot of air in this. Make sure to bleed it before you go ahead and drive. It actually provides a new little nipple for your bleeder. So I'm going to go ahead and install that right now. Blood the brakes. I had my wife help me out. She didn't film that part, but like I said, if you're doing this, you really have to know how to bleed your brakes, check up your car, just the basics. Alright, nipples on, got a new brake hose installed, all the way up. This is all tightened up right here. Looks good. So we got our banjo bolt installed right here. Got our bleeder right here. All the bolts are installed. So now we're looking at something like this. And for me, to clear my brake calipers with my wheels, which are the SC430 wheels, 18 inches. I do have to install a wheel spacer. Now you're talking just a tiny bit. So this is a 3mm. So that's gonna get slid on there. And we're gonna put the wheel back on, tighten it up, and it should be good to go. So I'm not sure what that looks like. So just kind of slides on. Now there is a side to this, so let's just double check. Yeah, as you can see, there's kind of a chamfered side. So that's going to be facing your wheel. And these are hub-centric. I think it's 60.1 for these Lexus. So it looks like that, just a little bit. You can see how small that is. And that's just to clear the calipers. Don't ask me how I found out. I had to repaint these. But that's what that looks like right there. And that's it, job complete. Put your wheel back on, torque it down, go break them in, have fun.